Dancing in Jaffa. Dance is a Social Unifier by Chloe Kenny, Vicky Quell, and Lauren Harwood. Dancing in Jaffa is a documentary that demonstrates how a common unifier can eliminate cultural and racial disparity. Pierre Delaine, a renowned world ballroom dance champion, teaches young boys and girls from conflicting cultures the art of dance, with the hopes of promoting peace between the Israeli Jews and Israeli Palestinians. By teaching children to work together and trust each other through dance, Delaine succeeds in promoting friendship between these two opposite and divisive groups. So Delaine was born in Jaffa, Palestine in 1944. He defines himself as a Palestinian. In the documentary, he talks about how he feels a certain kinship with the Palestinian children, but almost because of that, he wants to make sure they see the Jewish children as equals and not as enemies, even though they're taught to see them as enemies and not as equals. At the age of 4, he was forced to flee from Jaffa due to the creation of the Israel State in 1948. It was dangerous because when the Israel State was created, the conflict started between Israeli Jews and Israeli Palestinians, and so it wasn't safe for many Palestinians to stay in the now Israel State. He started dancing at 14, and he has won 4 world championship dance titles. And despite winning many awards, including a United Nations nomination as a Goodwill Ambassador for encouraging peace, he considers his most important accomplishment to be teaching the children of Jaffa to dance with the enemy. Palestine is the birthplace of an ongoing conflict over land between Israeli Palestinians and Israeli Jews that began in the mid-20th century. Contrary to popular belief, the conflict is less about religious differences and largely about land and government control. However, as the conflict continues, Israeli Jews and Israeli Palestinians find more faults with one another and continue to be prejudiced against the other group. From a young age, Jewish children are taught that Palestinians are the enemy and vice versa. This has caused a near total divide between the two cultures, which continues to heighten tensions, furthering disunity and animosity. So originally, the conflict between Israeli Jews and Israeli Palestinians was about land and government control, and it still is, but as the conflict continues, children have been taught that the other religion, cultural group is the enemy, and this causes them to be more prejudiced about things that they normally may not be prejudiced about due to the conflict over the government and the land. So it just kind of amplifies everything. So Delaine's plan for peace. He created a plan to go to 5 different Jewish and Palestinian schools to teach them how to dance. 2 Jewish schools met with 2 Palestinian schools, and then there was one school called the Weizmann that has both Jewish and Palestinian children. So he first paired boys and girls together as part of his teaching method, despite the children's hesitation. And in the beginning of the film, many of the children were really apprehensive about dancing with a partner of the opposite sex. They didn't want to hold each other's hands or shake hands, especially the Muslim children, whose religious beliefs state that you cannot touch those of different gender. But Delaine had to create a strategy behind his steps toward working toward that competition. He first wanted the children to be comfortable dancing with someone of the opposite gender, which would then make it easier for them to be partnered with a person from a different culture, religion. He paired Arab boys with Jewish girls and Jewish boys with Arab girls from the Weizmann school to compete together in the final dance competition. This forced the children from the 2 politically conflicting groups to work together and trust one another to accomplish a common goal, and that goal was trying to win the competition. The film specifically highlights 3 children: a blonde Jewish girl named Loy, a Muslim girl named Noor who had lost her father, and a happy Arab boy named Allah. And Arab in this sense is the same as Palestinian in the documentary. The progress of these 3 children display how dance acted as a social unifier in their lives. While at first hesitant to even dance with one another or shake hands, by the end of the documentary, Loy and Allah became good friends. This was entirely due to learning to trust one another as dance partners. In the beginning of the film, Noor was angry and depressed over the loss of her father. She lacked confidence and did not have friends. However, because of Delaine's teaching, dance taught Noor how to express herself, which brought confidence and gave her the ability to make friends. In the film, they talk about how Noor was like a closed-off flower, and then she kind of bloomed throughout the documentary because of dance. It gave her confidence and allowed her to express probably her sadness and emotions. So dance as a social unifier as a whole. Over time, the students forgot that their partners were someone they were supposed to hate, and instead started focusing on the fact that they were dance partners, working toward that common goal of winning the competition and performing well. This allowed them to see each other as real people, not just the enemy. And after the competition, many students had a change of heart, and those that were considered their enemies became their friends. So dance totally brought these two children from two politically fighting, divisive groups, and it taught them just to become one and unify, even though they still had differences. And Pierre Dulion's hopes were that if the children learn to accept each other, that will continue through generations, and soon peace will shield Palestine instead of conflict.